Recording is started and officially. Good morning and welcome out everyone to Options Income Launchpad Wednesday Market Midpoint. My name is Scott and I will be your host. As always, let me remind you that what we do is for education and illustrative purposes only. Nothing should be intended or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. We are not brokers or advisors, therefore don't give personalized financial or investment advice. All decisions made are done so at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. Okay, what are we going to do? Talk about today's opening analysis. We're going to check in on our market posture, mindset for open trades, review. I've got 14 that I had on my list. I reviewed them last night that I'm like, these could turn. Now, of course, we know there's an event baked in today. The question is just, is it going to move quickly? Is it going to give us opportunities for entries? I assume we should get opportunities for entries. Okay, let's get into it. Futures are, let me see, did I reload this? I thought I did. Futures are flat, marginally down, 0.05 for the S&P. Minus 0.03 for the Dow, minus 0.12 for the NASDAQ. The Russell's down 0.25%. It's really quite minimal. The VIX up a little bit. But again, up a little bit at 17.39. We'll look at the chart, obviously. We'll look at the chart, but the long and short of it is that we haven't seen any institutional fear coming in. The hedging has been, to some extent, very muted. Okay. All right. What do we have? Outside of that, we obviously the Fed is the big news. Let me see. Oracle set for earnings reveal as Wall Street looks for AI cracks. That's about it. Okay. Let's look at the calendar. So again, we know we have the FOMC rate decision at 2 Eastern. Press conference at 2:30 Eastern. Tomorrow, jobless claims. We had a pretty unexpected drop in the jobless claims. But they're still expecting it'll jump back to 223. That's really still a fine number. So as far as the data that we have, this week's been okay. And if we get something from the Fed, we get the cut, we get maybe an indication of what the future path is, then we should have what we need, to at least move forward after this meeting. Okay. Final final predictive numbers before today's meeting. %90, 90% to, so 9-1 odds priced in, baked in. Let's pull up the futures here and just take a little peek at what's going on as we come in. Okay. Again, you can see here what we have. Why would Russell and NASDAQ be relatively up? Well, the Russell is actually a little down this morning. Everything's slightly down, but here you can see we're just sort of in this little consolidation. This is definitely rolled over, indicative of we're seeing the sellers, right? The selling cycle. Okay. Let's take a peek at the VIX prior to Steven said, I can now agree that our major market is a 1. Yeah, okay. And if we don't get volume, well, so here's what's interesting. That's a good. Let's talk about that. Let's pull up the VIX. You can see what the VIX is pricing in, and what it's pricing in is actually what we kind of said we were hoping for. Right? We said we were hoping for, if anything, just this mild pullback that doesn't even break the moving averages. Even if it did, I'm kind of thinking it gets up here, test a little higher, but if it comes down, this lower high is going to be a very strong for us. So I look at this VIX and I think this looks fantastic. This is exactly what we're hoping for. Let's go back and answer that volume question as we're on the precipice of opening here. I'm not going to change my extra bars. So today's Wednesday. So this day will drop off. This day will drop off. This day will drop off. When it does, we will have all of this volume as it moves this way. It's getting more and more stale. But I would say I need at least some of these to fall off, right? But you can see here, these first 4 versus the second 4 of this bunch, or I guess 3 or 4. There's sell day, tie, sell day, sell day. So if this drops off and that's what we're left with, I'm going to move closer to a 0. I'm still at a minus. Yeah, I'm still at a minus. Okay. Let's take a look at that. We did want to check in on market posture. We'll take a look at all that now, actually. So here is where we stand for our market posture. 1.5 for the long term. Model is at 1.25. Let's take a look at that first. Now, one red is not enough. It has to convincingly, it could pause here and then go up the next and then up the next. So one red is not enough to tell me it's not getting there. A second red that closes below this one, or if this red drops below this one, then we would be like, okay, now we have a little bit of a problem. Right? So, okay. You're at a negative as well, still. Yeah. So is this enough to change my long-term trend score? The answer is no, it's not. Okay. Let's look at the short-term score. Today, so what are we seeing here? Unchanged. Interestingly, last week the model tried to jump a half of a point, and it was like, no, that's too much. We can't. We can't really jump like that. Okay. Next, volume. So I as of right now, I see long term staying the same. I see short term staying the same. I see volume staying the same. Major market staying the same. Sector rotation. I think it'll be hard pressed. To see it go up another quarter point back to back. Maybe if we've had enough momentum shift into our bullish sectors, we see that. I'm skeptical. The one that I think we could definitely see is the VIX. We could see a quarter point come. So, yeah. Okay. I agree. So, let's pop in. I'm looking to hopefully put a star into the tradables today. I think we'll have a good list of tradables today, and that's what we're definitely looking for. What's the list of tradables? Okay, let's start at the top. Okay. Apple. Apple's on my list. You can see I'm going to keep my line where it is. Let me zoom in. What am I on here? Am I on 6 months? I am. Market responds today, and this thing could turn around and give a signal. If it holds, we could get a signal tomorrow. But I think this looks very much in line with what I'm looking for a setup for a trade. So that's the first one. Apple. AMKR, it's too high. It's too much, right? We were looking for this thing to try to pull back. It just sort of eked a little higher even still. Okay, let's see. Amazon. Yes, as of right now, this is ready to go. Now, if it stays this way is a different question. And it's tough, right? I don't love putting trades on too early in the day because of what we can see happen, which is a shift. But let's talk through this one. What do we have here? We have this downward consolidation. Buyers busted out of it. Looks pretty good there. Buyers paused. Sellers came in. Here they are. This is what they did. We don't have a lot of volume with that, so the volume's declining as the sellers come in. And now the buyers are starting to come once again. Classic signaling for us. Classic signaling. Okay. Amazon star. Thoughts? Does look promising, right? Does look promising. I'm putting a little star next to Amazon. Okay. APH. No. On Apple, I would want it to get above. I don't know if I would need it all the way up here, but close to this 280 mark, to show that it's turned around. But Amazon's done. Amazon's there, right? Most definitely. Okay. The 250 mark, like way up here. No. I think we've got. So what we're looking for here is, did we find the next trend? Is what we're kind of hoping for, right? And so for me, I would think I'm gonna look for this move here. Even that alone might not get there, and then if it pulls back, then the next one might be what gets there, right? And so we're kind of looking to. No, I don't need it to be above its all-time high or 52-week high. I don't even need it to break 240. Quite honestly, it's this move here for me broke back above all the moving averages. It broke this high. It broke this high. The buyers did enough. Pulls back. For me, it's there. Stochastics is turning higher low. The last move went from, let's call it 216 to 236, 20 points. So 226 to 246, maybe. 246. When you say rating sheet, like, do you mean like the trade alert form that puts like target time frame? Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. This one is a top candidate, so it could be for today. APH is a no. ASX is a no. AVGO, no. Has earnings coming up here soon. Okay, AXP. Maybe. I feel like AXP is starting to do a bit of a setup here. It's starting to pinch into this little consolidation here. BAC, definitely setting up. I'm going to put BAC on my list, but not for necessarily for today. I mean, these are still kind of pulling back. We're not really seeing it yet. We're not really seeing it just yet. Okay, let's keep working through the list. BK. BK is new to the list, but overextended. Citigroup. Overextended. Caterpillar. Ooh, Caterpillar was one that was on my list. However, we talked about this, and one of the things I said was I struggle a little with one-day consolidations. So if it turns over and then turns and then goes, I'm frozen. That's outside of what I consider a comfort zone of trading for me. I even said to people, hey, I encourage you, see if there's rules you can develop that allow you to say, well, what would let me get into that? CIEN. CIEN. Earnings come out tomorrow, so we're just kind of watching that one. CLS, sideways, coherent. What a beautiful stock that strong move that made. Very strong. Credo on my list. As of now, no, and I think this one would really have to turn pretty far today. So I would wonder if we got just one like if this thing were to like pop up today and finish like this, I would still need one more day to get through there and be like, yes, now we have our turn. And I think that would give us a turn down here on the stochastics at the same time. Cisco, it's kind of flat today. We're looking for this thing to try to keep on moving. Come on, Cisco. Delta is overbought. Just kind of pushing against this same resistance level here. DIA, a little bit of a pullback. Okay, let's keep looking. Fox overextended. First Solar. First Solar looks very close indeed. That one's on my list. But that looks like it could still be a day away. GE, no, still down. Gold, sideways. GM, still overextended. Google, if you held, you're still seeing some signs of life. Of this support level holding. It's just kind of right there. We'll keep watching it, of course. Goldman overextended. Still on Google, David says. Nice. Nice. Okay. GTX. As I said, this one's kind of making a case for this sneaky little, kind of snuck its way up all of a sudden and pulls back. And now all of a sudden it looks like it's trying to make a turn. I think you could make an argument for this. Howmet. No. Starting to lose confidence in Howmet Aerospace. IBM. It's just kind of meandering at this point. Intel, still setting up, still on my list. Good, strong, bullish move coming in. Lower consolidation on decreasing volume, but we still need this thing to turn around. Still looks like it's at least a day away, maybe two. IWM just kind of rolling at this level, but certainly we see bullish momentum into small caps. We've been scoring that. This is what Stephen was talking about earlier. So yeah. Okay. IYT, is that telecommunications? What is IYT? Transports, that's right. Transportation index. Well, I got to tell you, that's a lot of times you will hear people talk about transportation leading, but that's a big breakout from transportation right there, bullishly. Followed now by a flagging pattern. So, yeah, I mean, look, integrating that definitely shows some momentum, for sure. Where was I? IWM, JCI. It's trying. This is what we were looking for. It's trying to push, but like everything, it's just kind of stalled this morning. J&J, very close. That's on my list. That one's very close. Okay, let's keep looking here. Lumentum overextended. That's a freight train that is at full speed, very difficult to jump on. Eli Lilly pausing its downturn. This one looks like more of a sell-off, unfortunately, than a pullback at this point. So I'm a little leery with that. Lam Research maybe hitting resistance, but nothing for a trade setup yet. Macy's in setup mode. I actually look at this one and I think, hey, we could pop out of this. It's a little bit of a pennant, which has very similar implications to a flag. So you can see, did that and then moving into that. What made me say that? Good question, Gabe. Let me go back. Gabe's asking about Eli Lilly. And so for me, what it is the depth of this. Even though it is still above the 50, it's like 15. Let's see. 1111 to 990. So 10 on one side, 10 on one side, 100 in between, 120 points. It's more than 10%. So it's actually like moved into a correction. Anytime this thing here is 10% plus, I'm going to be a little bit more suspicious. Now, with it being above the 50, could someone be like, oh, I'm still going to go ahead and take that? Oh, definitely, right? Well, yeah. So this is a 7-3 stochastic. So you can see that, it's definitely going to get down there. Yeah. No. For me, the stochastics as an indicator is my last consideration. Price action first, indicators last. But look, is it? Yeah, I'm not saying this doesn't look like a tradable opportunity. This is not one that I would likely take, but certainly there's opportunity, possibly even just to test if it can regain the old high, right? Like that alone could be, you might say, hey, you know what? I could put a stop here. Put my target up here at the old high, and now do I have a 3-to-1? Yeah, it looks like maybe I do. So I'm not like saying, oh, I don't think there's a trade. I'm saying for me personally, I don't like when I start to see what I interpret as consolidations become too deep, meaning pullbacks that become sell-offs. Is it a pullback? Or is it a sell-off? So when I start to veer towards, that might be a sell-off, then I'm going to just be like, especially if I already have other trades. Especially if I have other trades even in that sector. So if I have like Johnson & Johnson and Eli Lilly, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going Johnson & Johnson. So that's how it'll work through my logic. Macy's close. Pennant, as we said. MasterCard, MasterCard, no good yet. Meta for me is actually on a setup. And if this pullback were to stabilize and then turn, I'd be like, okay, let's see if this is going to be our new trade, our new trend, and this thing can make a move up here now. I'm not looking for it. We can get to there. We can get to there. We can get to here. Well, that's the only one I need. Right there. And then if it pulls back, then I could say now I can try for the next one. 750. And then if it pulls back again, then I can try for the next one. Up here like that. Bang. So that's kind of what we're looking for when we see these reversals out of these bottom areas. I don't need to wait that long. I can just wait for it to establish that the buyers have regained control. Morgan Stanley overextended. Microsoft still just kind of lurking under its moving averages. I'm not feeling that one so much. Okay, let's keep going here. Micron. Micron was. We actually talked about Micron for a short term trade. Anyone pull the trigger on that where you're like, oh, you could trade it for a few days. Today it's down a little, but it's been moving a little bit. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Netflix. Way overextended down at these lower lows. Nvidia, not enough yet. Next, not enough yet. Palantir. Palantir has definitely done enough to get back on the radar, but now we have to wait for the next round of sellers. Oh, did I lose sound? Sorry, what did you guys hear me miss? How long was it gone? A few stocks? I think I bumped my microphone. Roku. We'll go Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab is new, broke out, looking for the pullback. Roku is I would actually say kind of a maybe from here. It reinvigorated itself with this last big move. I'm a maybe there. Like maybe something could develop. Ross Stores. Kind of doing the same thing here. And then looking to pop out of it. I don't know. TJ Maxx did that and we're like, we passed. We didn't like the way that the entry showed up. But that could be it. That might be the entry right there. All we have. Okay. RTX. No. Silver. Overextended. God, silver really took that run, didn't it? I mean, it's up at 55. It's crazy. Crazy. SanDisk. Yeah. So SanDisk for me, I think that was the consolidation. We broke it. Now we're pulling back. I think SanDisk has a trade developing here, but we're going to be patient. Wait for it to pull back into that level. Give us that opportunity. SoFi, that's a maybe. Same kind of a thought process, right? We broke, got back up, now we're pulling back. And if this new high shows up, then yeah, that's a maybe. This thing can move. This thing can trend. SPY, you can see the SPY's flat. We're minus 0.02. Waiting, lurking, looming. Right? All of those things. Okay. Okay. Let's see. STX. It's kind of sitting, pushing resistance. Teradyne, we thought might pull back. We'll see if it does. It's stalling out now. TJX starting to move again. Tesla still sort of in its little minor consolidation. TSM, that's a maybe on the next pullback. The VIX, yeah, the VIX looks just fine, right? Minor amount of uptick in fear, not much really there. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. Wayfair. It's just kind of sitting down. WBD, another day up. So, my expectation between these 2 days is if anything, you sold a little but still have some. Or maybe you still have all of it, but this trade has worked out quite well. Hopefully, you've locked some in and you're thinking about when to lock the rest in. We said we at least have through this week to see what it can do. And here it is, showing us. Looks great. Looks strong. Looks strong. WDC, just kind of loitering. Got out yesterday at a great price. Good. Good to hear. Walmart, possibly trying to turn. Let's take a quick look at the XLs. XLB, looks like materials are trying to make a move. XLC, it's nice to see momentum in communication stocks. Energy just kind of pushing near highs. Financials. Overextended a little bit, but you know we got a full recovery. Now we're just kind of seeing what kind of a little flag, or hopefully pattern, or some consolidation pattern. Same thing here with industrials. I don't know. Maybe there is enough. Maybe there is enough to get a quarter point out of our sectors. Looking pretty good. We're seeing some momentum in communication services, seeing some momentum in financials, industrials, still in technology. We are also seeing a little bit of momentum building in staples. Not utilities. Healthcare has pulled back quite a bit, maybe looking to see that last run comes. And of course, consumer discretionary quite strong as well. So yeah, no, I do think that there's been some strength in the sectors that could parlay into a better score. Let's just kind of see what happens with that. So okay, That's the watch list. We know what we're waiting for, right? We know that we're going to be waiting until 2 o'clock Eastern. If you've never done it, about 5 minutes before that, if you're watching, take your SPY or ES charts down to a 1 minute chart and just watch as there's not a huge amount of anticipation built into this one because it's more of a baked in announcement than it is a what's going to happen announcement. With that being the case, though, I still think that you'll see the market respond to it because it's not just the number, but it's also like what verbiage. So we'll see it pop around after the 12 o'clock and then 2 o'clock, 12 for me, around 2 o'clock. Then at 2:30, when the press conference comes out, that's when the market's like looking to respond to specific language, verbiage changes, things like that. Craig said, thoughts on new trades being put on before Fed speaks. It's just a little anticipatory, right? You're just sort of like, hey, I feel like the market's going to respond well to this. And the risk is that we get the cut, but whatever verbiage comes maybe spooks the market. Maybe they're like, we are going to cut this one, but it's probably going to be a few, we're probably going to watch it for a few meetings. Feelings can get hurt, right? Exactly. Yes, exactly. Okay. Thoughts about January meeting. Let's go take a quick peek. That's not a bad idea here. So what's priced in and what's not? So 8% of the market thinks we're not getting one this time and we're not getting one next time. 22% thinks we're getting one this time and one next time. 70% think we're going to get one, most likely either the current meeting, and if not the current meeting, the next meeting. So there you go. I think it's not nearly as much once we get through this one. So it should be interesting. Again, quick reminder. In preparation for January, when we're going to do a trading plan evaluation and prioritization exercise, you're going to want to have made sure to have gone through each section of your trading plan at least once. So, yeah, at least once. Then you can evaluate and start to prioritize. Well, if you've only gone through it once, maybe you want to go through a second time. But the point is, we're not going to start the year with a loop. We're going to start with evaluation and prioritization exercise. I think it's helpful. I think people should get good at that because once you've gone through a couple of passes, it's better to really hyper focus on a couple sections at any given time to get everything where it needs to be. Okay, anything else? Any other questions before we wrap it up? We'll see what the Fed does, what the result is, and then where it puts us from there. But I think we're ready. It's good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Glenn will be here tomorrow morning. I will be here tomorrow evening for another round of Q&A to help carry us through to the end of the week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.